The one thing about YFF that I feel like stands out amongst like any other camp is the things that they do at YFF really have to do with experience. So the more that your body is able to experience something, it's much faster to change, to adapt, to actually get results than just being taught something sitting in a classroom. And so for me, coming back to YFF is something that I love to be able to support kids in making these like huge changes in their life versus just sitting in a classroom being told what changes to make. They actually do it in person here at camp. And also for me, like being able to be a part of the ELTs, which are like those simulations where the kids actually have to put into practice how to like make the change that they're wanting in their life. They're having to feel intense emotions, navigate how to problem solve, how to think critically, how to think creatively on the spot. And I just get to experience that as well as a staff member. And I think sometimes as adults we think we can get to places in our lives where we think we know everything, but what I love about being here at YFF is it's a constant reminder that you don't. And I think that is really humbling, and in a way what the world needs is to remember that like together, working together is how we will solve problems, not just coming from the mindset of, oh, I already know, like, oh, I have this degree, I've done this. YFF takes all these people who are trained, who have all these degrees, but come together and realize that we're all human and we all experience the same emotions, and just being able to get back to the basics is something that I think that YFF is really unique in.
The schedule is a lot of different types of activities, all very intentionally planned, both in like the timing of them and the order of them, to really help activate the kids in like getting in touch with their emotions and their feelings and then regulating those. And so it really builds a sense of resilience in the kids. So they go from like what we'd call an ELT, where they're experiencing activities and they're playing, and often that evokes a lot of emotions. And then they step into a place where they're able to process those emotions with the coaches and the counselors and process together as a group. And then we usually lead them into an activity that is, just fun, play-filled, and also restful. So a lot of like just allowing them to activate and regulate on a broader scale that builds that resilience.
Youth for Freedom has been kind of a lifesaver for me, because 2 years ago I had a really hard time, and without Youth for Freedom I think I would still be struggling to this day and not understanding my self-worth, and I probably wouldn't have learned how to build myself back up to be a super positive person and be able to give back.
This camp is for teenagers to learn who they are, spread their wings, and become leaders, and we become independent together and show the future of our generations that we are strong, we are independent, and we come together as a beautiful harmony, and that we can all have that togetherness if we just tried, because otherwise the world, it wouldn't be the same without like Youth for Freedom or the campers here, the people who go here.
To another parent, I would describe YFF or Youth for Freedom as an opportunity for your kids to get involved in simulations and experiential learning in a different way than they're probably going to learn about themselves and about leadership in other settings, like perhaps school or other more traditional camps. It's very hands-on, very experience-based, as opposed to lecture-based or methodology-based. I think that it's going to open your kids up to trying things that maybe they would have shunned in another setting. For example, last year, my oldest son came home and he said his absolute favorite thing that he did was learning ballroom dance and learning couples dance. And he felt a lot more confident than dancing. And I have tried for years to get that kid to try that, and he was unwilling, but here, through the magic of YFF, they pulled it off.
As a past business sponsor and donor to Youth for Freedom, another potential business will receive marketing materials with their names on it, exposure for their business, and truly, even without any of that, this is true impact that we're having on this next generation, and we need that. And I don't know what else you could benefit from than watching somebody that was young succeed and then be a part of their success. It just really shows the value, the internal value and integrity that a business has and why they have it. So I would always recommend another business to donate to Youth for Freedom.
I think it's important for sponsors to sponsor Youth for Freedom, because what Youth for Freedom does is it takes a whole bunch of kids from all different parts of the world, different age ranges, the way they grew up, everything is different. Not a single one is alike, and it basically takes them and it helps them grow and build upon their understanding of life to where as they grow older they're able to fully mature and help themselves grow.
And so I love that I'm in a position where I can be sponsoring and having the backs of these kids that are going out on their own. We've got children that are that have created businesses from like as early as like 14, 15 years old, and they're not only are they turning a profit for themselves to continue funding the path that they feel drawn to, that is like super soul fulfilling for them, but we're also watching how it's rippling out into their communities, how it's not just affecting the people, but it's also affecting other organizations in their communities, and it's so awesome to watch them feel so limitless doing what it is that they absolutely love. And so for me, helping fund this, it is like a complete no-brainer. If I had had this as a kid, super cool, super awesome. It's awesome that I didn't, but it is awesome to be able to be in a position to support these kids.
Winning that scholarship was really cool because it was like the recognition that me just being myself is me being a leader and I am making a difference for people. And like getting that recognition publicly isn't something that I need, but it does feel really good to receive that from people. And then I was able to take that money to pay for one of my semesters of school, which was a really cool opportunity because my dad pays for my schooling. So this was a way for me to like give back to him and to give him a break so that he could focus financially on other things. If it didn't happen, I think it would have put a lot more stress and responsibility on me, like having to work and to pick up the slack. But it also makes me feel really guilty that my dad pays for my schooling. So it was cool to be able to take some of that responsibility for myself. Investing in Youth for Freedom is investing in our future because all of the kids here are amazing leaders, and being able to support them and getting them here and supporting them in their futures is supporting all of our futures. And I think it's got such a cool opportunity to see these kids grow and blossom, and with more money we'll be able to expand the program and reach more kids.
The thing about YFF that really stands out to me amongst like other camps or other nonprofits is that a lot of people talk the talk and not a lot of people walk the walk. The thing about YFF that I think is so impactful is that they truly walk the walk with these kids. I can only imagine that if I were 17 or I was 16 and I had the resources that YFF has, learning how to navigate intense emotions, learning how to problem solve, learning how to communicate while you're having those intense emotions, learning resources about how, you know, the brain works, how the mind works, how to process emotions through the physical body. Like everything that they do here at YFF is absolutely needed in the world. I feel like if you really want to talk about changing the world, you're going to have to change youth. And the thing about YFF is it doesn't just talk about changing youth, it does change youth. And you can talk to any single one of these kids before they come to YFF, after they leave YFF, they absolutely did change. And that's why for me, like YFF is like, I will always come back when I have kids, I will always send them because this is the one place that I can trust that change will happen.
Every time I'm at YFF, I'm reminded how confident I am that this next generation of kids are changing for the better and growing and helping push society in a way that is really healthy. The mental health awareness that these young people are bringing to our minds, and the role that they're choosing to step into in healing each other is just, it's so reassuring to me that we are passing the baton to people that are going to carry it farther than we were able to.
So there's a lot of us out there that have the funds to do good. And sometimes we just put it in places because it's a habit, whether it's a certain organization or whether it's a tithe or whatever. And you also see so many of us that complain about the state of our world. And so a really beautiful place to be putting your funds is into these children that are at such a young age. They're knowing who they are. They're knowing what they're made of. They are tapping in and connecting into their passion and purpose, and they're actually doing the work. You hear like there's sometimes this complaint about this generation that they like don't know how to actually go and do the work. Not here. Like things happen here.
Youth for Freedom is a non-negotiable for me because I would have loved to have this opportunity as a child. I just didn't know that it existed. And being able to be here on the other side, I know that we are making a difference. And that means more to me in this world than anything else, is to prevent children, young adults and young entrepreneurs from struggling and being able to provide better opportunities. Like there's nothing better than being able to create generational change by being the person that takes action to provide an opportunity for the next generation that's coming up behind us.
Oh, this is absolutely where change happens. And I mean like the real kind of change, not the superficial of like, oh, I can do it. It's like the deep in your bones, deep in your gut, you know who you are. And that knowing creates a ripple, and that ripple creates lasting change that is sustainable, that is powerful, and that also calls forth, whether it's other kids, honestly, a lot of it is the parents. So even if you're out there as someone who might be considering, like come and get in this world, come and get in contact with whether it's one of the board members, whether it's Aubrey, come talk to the kids. Come see what it is, like what it means for them. It's a great place, and it's a great thing to be backing.
Youth for Freedom is powerful, empowering, beautiful, and loving. And the people, the community, our families, we are Youth for Freedom. We are what makes Youth for Freedom, this camp, our home.